Hello there, beautiful internet and you amazing creatures of the beyond. So, today we're going to experiment with the patterns again because I have discovered a lot of things. So, I'm gonna show you 3 ways to make patterns, and all 3 are extremely important. So, I'm gonna enable the rulers a little bit, and this is where my page is delimited. Obviously, I have disabled, or I combined the background with the page color so it looks the same, but try to kind of stay in this parameter. It's not necessary, but it helps. So we're gonna do, first of all, I'm gonna do a square, and let's do it like this. 100% opacity, we remove this. I'm gonna make it red, and I'm gonna make it 100 by 100. And let's kind of set it up, I don't know, somewhere at the edge here. Somewhere. I think if this is the center, we can move it somewhere here. Okay, it will snap here. So, we have a few options. Let's say we want to do a circle. Oops. And I'm gonna make this circle black. And I'm gonna position it right here. I'm gonna convert it into a path. So object to path, yeah. And I want this to be dots, okay? So if I want them to repeat, I'm just gonna duplicate it, place it here, 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 and here. I'm gonna put this on top. I'm gonna select all of the circles. I'm gonna combine them, yeah, Control plus. And now I am going to go path and intersection. So this is our very first path. Important things to notice, well, you can set this to not inherit any color and it will automatically go to black. So if we go now, one more thing, when we do this pattern, right now it's still a pattern, it's still a path. First of all, save your file. So go to select where to save the file, go into your Inkscape folder, which is this, then go to share, Inkscape again, and then to paint. And here, I'm just gonna call it XYZ. Well, whatever, I'm not gonna replace it. Because it's already saved there. And in this path, I'm gonna call it XYZ1. Just for references, we shall see. So now, with this selected, I can go into Object, Pattern, Object to Pattern. And it automatically creates a rectangular shape and it puts the pattern inside of it. And as we can see, we can alter it and so on directly in here. But since it is 100 by 100, excuse me, it's already set up correctly. Good. This is the first way to make a pattern. Interestingly enough, you can change the color here, but we will not. And I'll show you what will happen if we do not. Now, we do another shape. I'm gonna move it somewhere here in the center. I'm gonna transform it into a path. Now, I'm not entirely sure what's the best solution, but in my opinion, if you're gonna do patterns, try to simplify your paths as much as possible, because then you're gonna have problems with colors, and I'll show you guys what I mean later on. So for this example, I'm gonna use the color like this. Also, for some reason, I think RGB, if you work in RGB, it might work better, but it's not guaranteed. Maybe you can work in the other color models. Again, for the safety of this video, I'm gonna keep it to RGB. And at one point, we're gonna work with the RGB color code, the hex code. We shall see. Now, this one, I'm gonna duplicate it. And this one, I'm gonna put in a group. For this one, I'm gonna make it as a clipping mask and go over this. Well, let's disable this so it doesn't get in our way. And I'm gonna set as a clip, okay? So all this did was to put this in a group. Now I have rectangle 7 here in group 7. Now I'm gonna create another group for this rectangle. And you might think, well, why? It's not necessary. But I'll show you why it's necessary. So right now I have it in this group. This is method number 2. Now, if I want to have more complex patterns inside of here that, well, duplicate in each direction, I can do it via a few ways. So right now, let's say, I'm gonna use this shape with this ellipse, okay? So something like this, whatever, it really does not matter. I'm gonna make it black. I'm gonna reduce the width here. Probably going to make it a bit something like this. Maybe reduce its size a bit. Now, very, very important thing. Don't create a pattern with a path effect on. It will just break the Inkscape. I'm not sure exactly why this is happening, but it's happening. So keep that in mind, you know. I'm gonna put this inside the group over here. So we have it in the mask. See, we're hidden. And we have two options here. Well, maybe I'll make it smaller so I can work easier. I can put it like this and duplicate it and then put it on the side over here. Something like that. And then I can move both of them like this to kind of mirror it. But there is a better way. It's a bit complicated, but really, really powerful. So I'm gonna keep this in the center. And now I have created this group just for one single purpose. I'm gonna create clones. So I'm gonna go to Edit, Clone, Create Clone, or Alt D. I'm just gonna create with Alt D. It's much easier. So we have this one created over here. Now, in order for me to move it all the way up, I'm just gonna use Shift, and I'm gonna create another one, Alt D, move it over here. I'm gonna create 9 of them. Another one over here, 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 and the last one over here. Now what this does is basically allowing me to place this wherever I want, and ta-da, just copies it without me having to. Well, I'm just gonna disable this so I can set it up easier. As you can see, it goes to all four corners. And if I'm gonna duplicate this inside and put it here, maybe turn it something like this. Now all of them are set as this. Now, if I'm gonna set it up like this with the rectangular in the middle, the color won't be able to change. Maybe for the black one, but let's say even the black one, we're gonna change it to something a bit more dramatic. And let's push this one to be even darker, or something along the lines of this. So right now, let me check if I have not. So go to path, object to path, and the same for this one, path, object to path. And the rest we can leave it as it is. I'm gonna just save in case something dies. Very important, now select only the group, well, the clipping mask, whatever. And now go to path, object, pattern, object to pattern. I might have messed up something because I didn't rename them. But well, whatever. We shall survive. Now for the last one, I am going to... I'm going to select this as an example. And I'm going to move you somewhere here. Let's hide this one. And for this one, I'm gonna create something interesting. I'm gonna create some squares. I hope I created it correctly. Okay, I'm gonna transform it into a path. And I'm just gonna duplicate it 3 times. There is a tiny gap over here, but well, what can you do? And I'm just gonna get rid of the main one because we don't need it. What the heck? Why is that? Well, I don't know. Okay, whatever. Let's imagine it works like this. But yeah, I'm not happy about that result. Whatever. So I'm gonna keep this at 100% black. Actually, no, I'm gonna make them all black. So go select them all. Disable this, inheritance. And then we're gonna play with the opacity. I'm gonna put this to 50. I'm gonna put this to around 20. Perfect, easy, simple, correct? Now I'm gonna select all of them. I'm gonna go to path, to object, pattern, object to pattern. But one important thing that I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna go to this color and I'm gonna push it to a darkish red like this. And I'm gonna save. Now, if I go here to document resources, in order to open that you have to go here. Where is it? Here, this one, document resources. Go to your patterns and you have your free patterns over here. Well, this one got named correctly. I forgot to name this other two, but I can just name them right now. So this one is gonna be called XYZ2, and this one is gonna be called XYZ3. I'm gonna select all three of them, and if I click this, it should leave just these three right now, because these are the three ones that are being used in our document. And this document is where we saved it, yeah? So I'm gonna save the file. And now it's very, very important that you close Inkscape. Because if you do not close Inkscape, it's not gonna work for some reason. So now when we open a new document, now in our document, if we create a large pattern, let's go 100% opacity, and we're gonna go into our patterns. We're gonna go to XYZ because it's saved in that document. And we're gonna notice something. We cannot change the color to the dots. If we go to XYZ2, we cannot change the color, but the pattern is there. If we go to XYZ3, we can change the color, and it affects everything. Interesting, isn't it? So what happened? Well, for this one, we won't be able to change the color because it needs to be black, first of all. But this one is black, so what gives? Well, it's a bit complicated, but we'll sort it. But if you did everything like I did in XYZ3, well, without doing the opacity for these ones, but just simply doing it like that and then setting the color back then, it should be all right. Now, right now, this is a new document, it's not saved. This is not the document where all of the patterns are set up. So if I close this without saving, and if I go into to Paint, and if I select XYZ, double click on it, this is going to open our own file. And here is where things get a little bit demented. So if I'm gonna go here, so these are already set up. When we set up the file, it already set up the paths automatically. So when I'm gonna go here, I cannot select the color, but for this one I can, because when I created it, I clicked on this button and then I moved the slider. For this, you will not be able to do it, especially because this is inside a group and it's not following the black color pattern. So it's maybe there is a way, but I haven't figured it out. Now, the important thing about this is that if I want to make this like this to change the color, you'll have to select this one. Then you're gonna have to go to Edit and go to XML Editor. This is advanced stuff, but it will help you. So in order to not go through all of these trees and blah, 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 because it is rather complicated, it becomes, the more you open, the more you get lost. There is a simple solution. You click on Documents Resources, go to Patterns, go on XYZ1, and click this button. Select on Canvas, if applicable, or in the XML dialog, pattern in the Defs section, which is this one. So if I'm gonna click this, ta-da, we're over here. So let's look over here. We have these options. But if I click on this one, and again I click on this one, there is a style here with a fill. Interesting. So if I go back, click, and if I click this plus, and I say fill, and then click, and I say whatever this symbol is, and if I let's make it red. So for red, the hex code is FF and 4 of zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, and enter. And now, I think I made a small mistake over here because I probably didn't combine them. Or maybe it works only on specific things. Let me try that one more time to check. Interesting. Why did it create two? I know that this works if you select it as intended. So if I go here and I click this, so this one has the fill over here. Okay, probably I have to save. Let's close this, save. And let me try to restart it. So now if I go here, yeah, well, it seems you have to restart it. Now I can change the color to whatever. Well, you can avoid all of that trouble just if you move the colors when you first create it. I'm not sure why this is happening. It's a coding issue. It's inside of Inkscape. But now if I close this and I start a new file, new document, if I select this and I go to patterns, ta-da! This one will be constant, we cannot change it. You can flatten everything up, but yeah, I told you it's a bit more complicated. Not impossible, but the problem is more related to how you apply this overall color. Because you have to kind of imagine that the color is a blend using color mode here, and everything else is just gray and black, or black and with different variations of opacity. So if I would to select XYZ 2 and go to edit, XML editor, and go to document, patterns, and XYZ whatever, you will see that there is no fill here. But even if I would set the fill, well, it becomes quite complicated since these are the patterns, these are the clones. So it doesn't really know how to handle this. So in this case, you would have to transform everything into a path. Technically, I could do it right now, but I'm not in the document where the path is saved. I mean the pattern. But you can do this. You can select, since we are on this rectangle over here that we have created, right? I can go to Object, I can go to Pattern, and Pattern to Object, return the process. So right now, well, I'm gonna get rid of this one. If I'm here, I see that all of this is still workable. So if I move, so the pattern is here. So if I would just make this black and reduce the opacity to 50% or maybe more, and then I would select all of these and go to Edit, Clone, and Unlink Clones. And this is gonna transform everything like this. This is gonna be a pain. Anyway, so if I release the clipping mask, and if I take everything like this, I remove the groups, and then let's get rid of these squares over here because we do not need them. This one in the center either. And now we want to duplicate, well, actually we want to take everything here. We want to combine it. We want to make everything black. Remove it like this. And then, well, maybe we don't want to combine it. Let's break apart. So path, where is break apart? Break apart. Maybe these ones. Well, we could just get rid of this. This is kind of overkill what I'm doing, but I'm gonna show you something interesting. So if I'm gonna select all of this and reduce the opacity to 50 and put this one to 20, let's say. Now, if I select all three and go into Object, Pattern, Object Pattern, and I select the color, it's very important that you do. I'm not sure if you're gonna try to put it back to 0, if it's gonna work to stay to 0, but the point is that now I can go to HSL. Maybe it's a little bit easier. If I'm gonna save it, oh shoot, I forgot to do something. I forgot to, come on, undo. So we should duplicate this. Select this 4, combine them, and then we make an intersection, and only now do we make it as a pattern, all these 3. So right now they're just patterns, all of them. They're all paths, sorry. And now when I go to Object, Pattern, Object to Pattern, and I move the sliders over here, it should be all right. And right now it's creating the pattern 76, but it's not gonna be saved obviously because we're not working in the main file. But if we're gonna take this and go into patterns now, ta-da! We could of course make it smaller and move it a bit around. And maybe even orient it a little bit. Superbo. Maybe I can even hide this one. I forgot to remove the group. Anyway, so that's how you work with patterns. You can do far more interesting things, but I told you, as more as you complicate the procedure, and always be sure not to leave any path effects because that will crash Inkscape. You can make some super amazing things, and you can even make like textures like this, or like patterns like this. This is exactly a pattern that you cannot change the color like we did initially, but we can enhance it, and it's really, really cool. You can actually, unfortunately, it does not seem to have a snapping option. Well, what can you do? Such is life. But cool. It is cool, 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 cool. I don't know. I hope this inspired you guys to make some interesting things. I sure do love to play with this interesting little decoys. Oh, this is really awesome. And you can make super amazing patterns. Oh, and one more thing. I don't think we talked yet about the... Where is it? Paint servers? Is it this one? No, not this one, sorry. It should be... Oh, we have the XML editor over here. That's interesting. Not the font. Unicode? Oh, no. Sorry. My mistake. Now I've seen it. It's over here. Symbols. And if you want to make some interesting things, ta-da! Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Interestingly enough, they have their own thing here, but I'm not sure. I think you can path, object to path, and oh, would you look at this? But this one, interestingly, it keeps as an object, not as a path. That is really, really weird. Technically, everything should have transformed into a path. Not that I'm saying it's a bad thing, because sometimes it makes much more sense to have it as an object. But yeah, weird. Let's try this one. Path, object to path. This one should be just all paths. Yeah, it's only one path. Actually, this one, it's not even a path, it's a border. I'm having snap on, that's why. That's crazy. But if I make an undo action, it transforms it back to this. So yeah, there is a little bit of work left here to do. Still, a really interesting thing. I really enjoyed it. I hope they simplify the procedures to make this easier to work with, because obviously I would want to create a path and add it from this option here. Maybe have a plus over here after I created my path, and then it automatically saves it in the folder, so I don't have to do it. Because unfortunately, if you do not save it in that folder where I showed you, if you save it in another folder, when you open the Inkscape, it's not gonna stay there in the paths. So yeah, there's that. Anyway, you guys stay awesome. I'll catch you in the next episode. Bye 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 bye.